आज अपन बात करेंगे नेक्स्ट चैप्टर वैल्यू एडिशन कंसेप्ट प्रिंसिपल्स एंड मेथड्स ऑफ प्रिजर्वेशन. And in this chapter, first of all, we should know about the value addition concept. And all of you know that it is a terminology, and this terminology is used to define the processing of biological produce. Biological produce means the fruits and vegetables which we consume. So this biological produce to get more return and better storage life. And in another words, we can say that after harvesting fruits or vegetable, the biological produce can be either preserved or processed. In both the terms, we can use either in the preserved form or the processed form. So by the help of processing, the value of the commodities can be increased by converting it to different products. That product may be the jam, jelly, sauce, ketchup, and another things. And these products can be prepared by the conventional or the modern processing techniques. And with the help of this, we can also increase the storage life of the produce. So these are the following vegetable value-added products which can be prepared from the fruits and vegetables: the fruit juice powder, fermented fruit beverages, jam, jelly, marmalade, tomato ketchup, sauce, puri, paste, pickle, and dehydrated products. Now, after the value addition, we should also know about the principles of the preservation. And as per the definition of the food preservation, it can be defined as the science which deals with the methods of prevention of decay or spoilage of food, thus allowing it to be stored in a fit condition for future use. Means we have to keep our produce for the longer duration for the future use. And in another words, we can say that the preservation means just protect the food against the spoilage by preventing their shelf life and the microbial decomposition. So we have to preserve here our produce so that we can prevent them from the shelf as well as the microbial decomposition. When we talk about the preservation means we have to control the physical, chemical, and microbial changes in the food. In physical changes, you can see here that the color, flavor, texture, and taste can be changed. So we have to preserve them. In chemical changes, carbohydrate, vitamins, proteins, fats, and minerals can be protected. And in microbial changes, there may be chances of infection by the bacteria, yeast, and mold. So these are the different kind of things and changes may occur. When we talk about the importance of preservation of food, then these are the several importance that we have to increase the shelf life of the food. We have to retain the nutritional quality of the food, to make available the fruit and vegetable round the year, to add variety in our meal. By the help of the preserved products, we can add some of the commodity in our meal along with the vegetable. We can add the pickle, jam, jelly, squash, juice, etc. Then to save time by reducing the preparation, to stabilize the prices of food in the market, because during the glut in the market of any commodity, we can prepare any product and we can use at the time of the scarcity of that commodity, to improve the health of the population and to get more returns through the export of the such type of products, because we can keep the such type of products for the longer duration. Now we will talk about the principles of the food preservation, and in general there are three principles of the food preservation. First principle is the prevention or delay of the microbial decomposition, and this prevention or delay of microbial decomposition we can keep them with the help of four methods or techniques. First of all, by keeping out the microorganism, that is known as the asepsis. Means we have to keep our food out of the reach of these microorganisms by certain methods. Then by removal of the microorganisms, and such type of technique we can use by the filtration of the any product, by which we can remove the population of the microbes, especially in case of the juice and beverages. And the third is by hindering the growth and activity of the microorganisms. In this technique, we cannot kill all the microbes, but we can keep the population of the microbes at minimum, so the growth and activity of the microorganisms will be less. Then the process of decaying of the product will be also slow. So in these techniques we can use the anaerobic condition, chemicals and antibiotics. The fourth method is by killing the microorganism. In this method, in this technique or in this method, we can kill the complete population of the microbes from a product by the help of the heat or by help of the radiation. So the heat is known as the hot sterilization, and the radiation technique is known as the cold sterilization, because without applying the heat we can also kill the microbes, complete microbes from a product. Now the second principle is the prevention or delay of the self decomposition of the food. The microorganisms are not only responsible for the decomposition of the food, but the self decomposition of the food also occurs. And in this principle we will study that how we can prevent or delay the self decomposition of the food, that how we can check it. Now, in self decomposition of food, we have to check the destruction or inactivation of the enzymes, because the certain kind of enzymes, they may lead the self decomposition of the food. So by the help of the blanching technique we can prevent or we can deactivate the enzymes. Then the second method is by prevention or delay of the chemical reactions, means by prevention of the oxidation. By using the certain kind of antioxidants in the food, we can also prevent the oxidation of the food. And the third principle is the prevention of damage by insect, animals and mechanical causes. So these are the certain these are three principles of the preservation. And for the follow up these principles, or to prevent the self decomposition as well as the microbial decomposition and decomposition and the damage by the insect, pest and animals, we can use certain kind of techniques. And in first principle, the first thing that we have to keep out the microorganisms from the food, means we have to keep our food safe from the microorganisms, and this technique is known as the asepsis. In this technique we can prevent the entry of the microorganisms by maintaining the general cleanliness. In general cleanliness, we can this can followed at the time of pickling, grading, packing, transporting of the fruits and vegetables, and this can be we can use with the help of the washing or wiping of the fruits or vegetables before the processing of the product. The second technique is the removal of microorganisms from any product, and this technique is especially used in case of the liquid, especially the soft drinks, fruit juice and wines, and they can be in general clarified, or they can be filtered by special filters, and these special filters which are capable of retaining yeast and bacterial population. So such type of filters we can use. And in this factor, the asbestos pad or the unglazed porcelain made up of filters are available in the market, and these filters can be used to retain the yeast and bacterial population from a juice. Recently, such type of techniques the developed countries are using more, especially the USA, Germany, France, and they are using to preserve their grape juice for the wine making. Similarly, the third technique is by hindering the growth and activity of the microorganisms. As I told you that in this technique we cannot kill the microorganisms, but we have to keep the population and the growth and activity of the microbes up to the minimum level. So in this technique we can use the low temperature. At low temperature we can slow down the growth and activity of the microbes, especially not only the microbes but also the enzymatic reaction of the food we can also keep at the minimum. The lower temperature means the greater will be the retardation in such type of decomposition. So here you can see that there are three kind of low temperature devices we can use. First thing, storage at the cellar rooms, refrigeration or chilling temperature, and freezing temperature. So this is the difference in between these three methods, that the temperature in cellar rooms will be near about 15 degrees centigrade, where we can store the root crops, potato, onion and apple, means the hardy crops we can easily store during the winter months. The refrigeration is the technique which we can use in our houses, and most of the fruits and vegetables, except some of the fruits and vegetables, we can keep easily in the refrigeration. Similarly, the banana we cannot keep, potato in generally we cannot keep, the onion we should not keep. So these are these things we have to keep in mind. And with the help of this technique, we can store our commodity for few weeks to month. The another technique is the freezing technique, and here -18 to -40 degree centigrade temperature can be used, and this technique is especially suitable for the storage of the milk, juice, and the meat products. And this is a long period storage method in which we can keep our commodity more than month, six up to the 6 month or the more. This technology, especially in cellar, there is no technology we can use. Just we have to put in the cellars our commodity. In this we can use the refrigerator, and in freezing technology we can use the certain kind of deep freezers. The another technique is the prevention by anaerobic condition, and in this one we can replace the oxygen by the carbon dioxide. Means through the carbonation technique we can generally store our produce, especially the certain kind of beverages. Evacuating the sealed container, we can also keep the fruit juice in this method. And use of the oil, means in some of the pickles in general we use the oil, and this oil especially prevent the entry of the microbes, and it also creates the anaerobic condition in below this layer of oil. The another technique is the preservation by the carbonation. As I already told you that it is a method of the anaerobic process. And in carbonation we have to remove the oxygen from the any product, and thus we can able to create the anaerobic condition. And in general, 14.6 gram of CO2 per liter is used to dissolve in such type of beverages, and this one reduce the oxidation of the ascorbic acid. It also prevents the browning. Not only this, it also controls the growth of the mold and yeast, because they become inactive in the presence of the CO2, in the absence of the O2. So the carbonation is the process of dissolving sufficient CO2 in water or beverages, so that the product when served gives off special the gas as fine bubbles, and this also leads a characteristic taste. Especially you can feel such type of characteristic taste during the consumption of the soft drinks. Carbonation also adds life to a beverage, because when we are adding the CO2, then we can easily add the life to that particular product, with the preventing the growth of the mold and yeast. And we can also supplement the effect of acidity or on the pathogenic bacteria with the help of the carbonation. Preservation by the oil, and as I already told you that the pickles in this method we can easily store, because a layer of the oil on the surface of any of the food creates the anaerobic condition, and which also prevents the growth and activity of the mold and the yeast in the particular product or a pickle. Then preservation by the chemicals. In chemicals, especially these chemicals are known as preservative, and when we define any preservative, then any substance which is capable of inhibit, retard, or arrest the process of the fermentation, acidification, or other decomposition of the food. But these type of substance or chemical does not include the common salt, saltpeter, alcohol, spices, and essential oils. So other than these, the certain chemicals we can use for the preservation of the product, and these are known as the preservative. Especially these used for preserve the space, crust, and such type of products in which the sugar concentration or TSS remains less than 65%. So you can see here that the hydrogen peroxide, formaldehyde, halogenated acetic acid, and salicylic acid, these are also certain preservative, but nowadays these are banned due to their carcinogenic in nature. So we cannot use such type of preservative, but the recent preservative are KMS, potassium metabisulfite, then sodium benzoate, and in some of the conditions sorbic acid and tylosin we can also use for the preservation purpose. In KMS it liberates the sulfur dioxide gas, and in benzoic acid in general the benzoic acid we use in the form of the salt which is known as the benzoate. The sulfur dioxide it actually fumigate the our produce, and it is used in the form of salt as a sulfite, bisulfite or metabisulfite. The formula of this potassium metabisulfite is K2O, 2SO2 or K2S2O5. It may be asked in the objective type questions in the examination. So you have to remember that either this and either this you can use, or you can write the formula of the potassium metabisulfite. And as per the Indian Food Product Order, the maximum amount of the sulfur dioxide allowed in the food use is up to the 700 ppm. In space, crust and cordial it is 350 ppm, and in RTS and nectar we can only use 100 ppm, because beyond this that may be the toxic to the human being. We can see here the advantage of the certain this sulfur dioxide means the KMS. First thing, it is widely used throughout the world in the prevention of preservation of the juice, pulp, nectar, squash, crust, cordial and other products. As I already told you that the product which contains the TSS less than 65% we can use this type of preservative, because in the products where the TSS is more than 65, in that particular product the sugar itself act as a preservative. So there is no need to add such type of preservative. It has good preserving action against the bacteria and mold, and it also inhibits the enzyme action. So not only the microbial decomposition, the self decomposition of the food can also be prevented with the help of this KMS. It also acts as an antioxidant and bleaching agent. So as an antioxidant, we can easily keep our nutritional quality of the food, means it can retain the ascorbic acid, carotene and other oxidizable compounds. And although there is a bleaching action of this one, so we can only use in the non-colored fruits. Retard development of non-enzymatic browning or discoloration of the product. It is fairly stable in neutral or alkaline media, but it decomposes by the weak acids, and it react in the juice or squash with the acid and juice, forming the potassium salt and the sulfur dioxide. So this sulfur dioxide in general as a fumigant, it kills the microbes. Then it has the better preserving action than the sodium benzoate against the bacterial fermentation. So in general we have to use the KMS in most of the products except the colored products. It also helps to retain the color of the beverages for a longer time than the sodium benzoate. Being a gas, it helps in preserving the surface layer of the juice also. But being highly soluble in juice and squash, it ensures the better mixing, so it is better preserving action. And another thing, that if there is any excess of the sulfur dioxide, then if we give the heat to our product up to the 71 degrees centigrade, then we can easily remove the residual toxicity of such type of product. Although there are certain limitations of the sulfur dioxide, one is that we cannot use in the naturally colored products like the falsa, jamun, pomegranate, strawberry and colored grapes due to the bleaching action of this KMS. And it cannot be used in the juice which are to be packed in the tin container, because in tin container it also leads corroding effect, and that forms the hydrogen sulfide gas, and this is the disagreeable smell and react with the iron container to form a black compound. So in this situation we have to avoid the adding of the KMS. The another thing that also to give a slight taste and odor to freshly prepared beverage. So we can also feel, although it is not objectionable, but we can feel such type of slight in the taste and odor in the freshly prepared products. The benzoic acid, and in benzoic acid, in general, we use the sodium benzoate. The reason is that it is only partial soluble in water, so we can use the sodium benzoate, and sodium benzoate is 170 times more soluble as compared to the benzoic acid. This pure sodium benzoate is tasteless and odorless. You cannot feel any kind of the odor, and if you taste it, then it is tasteless, but it is because very toxic in nature, so we should not consume directly it. And the antibacterial action of the benzoic acid is increased in the presence of CO2 and acid, especially against the Bacillus subtilis. So benzoic acid is more effective against the yeast than the molds, and it does not stop the lactic acid fermentation. According to food product order, it permits level in RTS and nectar is 100 ppm, and in squash, crush and cordial is 600 ppm. Although one is important thing in this case, that it may darken the product for the long run, means in the storage, and it is mostly used in the colored products only. This is the difference between the sulfur dioxide and benzoic acid. Thus in RTS and nectar, both are used up to 100 ppm. In squash, crush and cordial, KMS is used as a 350 ppm and benzoic acid 600 ppm. In fruit juice, in general, it is used 700 ppm, and in benzoic acid used up to the 600 ppm. It is more effective against the bacteria and mold. It is effective against the yeast. It cannot be used in colored products. It can be used in colored products. It acts as an antioxidant. It uses antibacterial action, increase in the presence of the carbon dioxide and the acid. This one is the more effective in comparison to the sodium benzoate. There are difference between the class 1 preservative and class 2 preservative. Means the class 1 preservative do not have any maximum permissible limit for their use. For example, the sugar, salt and oil, and they are not harmful if consumed in the excess. Class 2 preservative, they have the maximum permissible limit and prescribed by the FPO as well as the PFA, prevention of the food product or adulteration of the this one. And potassium metabisulfite, sodium benzoate and the sorbate, styrosine, these are the certain class 2 preservative, and they are harmful if consumed in the excess. So we have to follow only the FPO guidelines. The another method is preservation by drying. In general, microorganisms needs moisture to grow. So when the concentration of water in the food is brought down below a sufficient level, then they are not able to grow on that particular product. So with the help of dehydration, we can also able to keep our produce for longer duration. So we have to remove the moisture by the application of heat, as in case of the sun drying and the mechanical drying, means through the oven, etc. Fruits and vegetables, especially the green pea, cauliflower, mango, mova leaf vegetables, etc. can be dried and can be saved from the microbial decomposition. Preservation by spices. Although spices in general, as per the research, there is no direct role of the spices to preserve the foods, but in general, the turmeric, pepper and aspergilla have a little bacteriostatic effect, and the ability of these spices prevent the growth of the microorganisms, and they also add in the food to add a characteristic flavor. Antibiotics, in general, there are certain metabolic products of microorganisms. Microorganism products have been found to have germicidal effect against the microbes. So these microorganisms, metabolic products of the microorganisms, we can also use as an antibiotic. And in general, 3 antibiotic we are using in the food as a preservative: niacin, subtiline and the pimaricin. Niacin is prepared from the Streptococcus lactis subtilis produced from the Bacillus subtilis, and it is the antifungal antibiotic. This one is used against the canned mushroom, tomato, and the milk products. It is used in canned pea as 10 ppm and in tomato 20 ppm, and it treating fruit and fruit juices. It suppresses the growth producing spore forming bacteria and toxin producing Clostridium botulinum. Especially it is used against the Clostridium botulinum, and it is also used against the gram positive bacteria and spore forming organisms, and it is act as a antifungal antibiotic. In general, if the quantity is in excess and if we are feeling that it may be the toxic, then if we are providing the 85 degree centigrade temperature to any product, then the residual toxicity of these antibiotics can be removed. And the fourth technique is the by killing of the total population of the microbes. In this one, we can use the high temperature, and this high temperature especially coagulate the protein and inactivate their metabolic enzyme, and thus we can able to destroy the population of the microbes. A high temperature can be used as the pasteurization and as well as the sterilization. So here you can see the difference between the pasteurization and sterilization. It is in this one we can partially destruct the microorganisms. In this one we can completely destroy the population of the microorganisms. It is used normally below 100 degree centigrade, means 85 degree centigrade for 25 to 30 minutes, and it is normally used in case of the flus. In this one we use above 100 degree centigrade, and the temperature should be 116 to 121 degree centigrade for 30 to 60 minutes at 15 pounds per square inch pressure, and it is normally used against the vegetables because vegetables are alkaline in nature, so they requires the more temperature to kill the all kind of the microbes, whereas the fruits are acidic in nature, so at a less than 100 degree centigrade temperature we can able to kill the most of the microbes. In general, heating of fruit juice, RTS and nectar we can use as a pasteurization technique, and sterilization can be used for the green pea, okra, beans, etc. Preservation by the irradiation, and the radiation technology is also known as the cold sterilization, because here we can completely kill the microorganisms without applying the high temperature. So the gamma rays or electron beams pass through the food, and they are collision between the ionizing radiation and the food particles at atomic and molecular level, and this will result in the production of the ion pair and the free radicals. So with the help of this one we can easily able to kill the microorganisms from the food. In general, if we expose the food for longer duration,